Here I am with more Great League action, and today trainers we're gonna be using a Clodsar team followed up by Double Water. So this is a very strong ABB team that you should definitely take note of. Greninja will join as the perfect closer while Dugong will go in as the perfect safe switch for this team to draw out the fighter or at least the grass type so that we can finish it off with the combined efforts of Dugong and Clodsar, and of course our Greninja will have no match in the very end of each individual battle. So the strategy is there, it's only up to us to grab it and make it our own. So let's see what is happening here since Cresselia will join this fight, and I believe that Greninja can still emerge victorious after spending 2 shields here because my opponent can get to that grass knot after we caught that amazing future sight on our Greninja. And now with that Golbat returning into the game, I know that I have to switch out to my Dugong. You never know when that Greninja will be needed with energy. Even with 1 HP left, when you have a whole Hydro Cannon worth of energy on your Greninja, bank it up for the very end game, you are gonna need it for sure. So down they go now with the Ice Wind, and all of a sudden the Metal Trash Can emerges into the game. You know what, this is absolutely awesome for us. I know that eventually they're gonna finish us off, but still we have some very strong moves for them. Focus Blast now for the Nook, and at this point I guess that Clodsar can absolutely wrap this up with its amazing typing and of course the earthquakes that are coming up along the way. So here's gonna be a Focus Blast I guess, but look at how little damage this is gonna do. There is no chance at all that they can win this, so after a few moves we can absolutely grab the victory, finally even up against this Cresselia. Into the next battle now over that Skarmory, and I think that this is one of the worst leads that you can get. So Stone Edge here is most probably gonna be our main way to go. I do not want to switch out immediately here, and after they throw perhaps then will be my best choice, but I decide to try and catch a move on my Dugong. This is not gonna happen because they see the switch, go for the Brave Bird and then switch out to their fighter. You know what, this is absolutely manageable as well because right here they might farm a lot, but still they are severely hurt, and of course their defense is dropped after that first Ice Wind. So now we can easily return into the battle with our Clodsar and see how they want to respond to my team, because we still have a Greninja around, and with the fighter out of the way perhaps they have no other answer for my Greninja. I'm expecting a Skeledirge or a Sableye to be honest for the double ghost backline. So let's see if we are correct, and at this point we're just gonna go for the Stone Edge for some extra pressure over that Skarmory. So at this point they have some energy to throw, Brave Bird for the win, but of course we're gonna block it, and we stand correct trainers with the Skeledirge coming into the game. That was some poor energy management by my part, but as you can see we might actually be on a very good spot anyways. After the first and false Hydro Cannon that I threw, right here we managed to still get to back moves with that double Night Slash after the Hydro. Down they go, we also get the boost, the unnecessary one, to destroy down the remaining HP that Skarmory is having, so that is gonna be another solid victory for our team. Into the next battle now with the Azumarill up in front. This is a very tricky situation to be in because we do not have Sludge Bomb like at all. So let's see how this is gonna go, and since we want to switch out to Dugong, we managed to catch that Ice Beam. So Wobbuffet, okay, I know what you're thinking, I'm not gonna watch a Wobbuffet battle on this one, so yeah, I'm just gonna skip it, I believe over here, yeah, there you go, and now we're just gonna keep exchanging some moves. We debuffed this Pokemon a lot, so we're just gonna reach now to the Ice Wind to finally finish it off, but my opponent decides to go for the shield. That makes me think that perhaps they want to stall so much with that Wobbuffet, and perhaps they also have a chance or whatever to stall even further and get a victory via a tie. So yeah, let's see how this is gonna go. Anyways, able to completely farm down here. I want to block in the process at least once, so down goes Azumarill. Let's see now what their final Pokemon might be, but first Wobbuffet returns into the game. Wobbuffet with Mirror Coat might actually pose a decent threat to our Clodsire, but to be fair, they are still pretty low that one Stone Edge can easily finish them down. So we stand correct on that tank prospect, so they have a Bastiodon, but unfortunately for them, we can easily come into the battle with Greninja, reach to the Hydro Cannon, and perhaps one more if we can survive that Stone Edge. This is kinda scary because if they knock us out, we might be in a pickle, so Stone Edge, they cannot get the knockout, and we still have access to that Hydro Cannon because Greninja is such a beast. Right straight now into the next battle with the Whimsicott up in front. Without Sludge Bomb, this lead can be kinda tricky to be fair, so now we're just gonna force them to switch out for some weird reason. I was not expecting this, but perhaps they think we have Sludge Bomb, or they do not want to risk it yet. Let's see. Nevertheless, this is a bad lead for our Clodsire, and now we're having the Azumarill on the switch. I'm pretty glad that Azumarill now has to face my Dugong because against my Greninja we are always on the range of a single play rough, and we do not appreciate that at all, especially when they resist pretty much whatever we throw. Anyways, now the Drill Run for the victory. Let's see if that is gonna knock out this Azumarill. Of course it does. Down they go, and Skeledirge emerges, so this is kinda scary. I was hoping to reach to the Drill Run, but they end up farming down completely, which is kind of a big mess for me. And now that they have a total of 4 Incinerates, we might be able to block them with the shields, but they definitely have the energy lead. So Nightslash now on the shield, and one more Disarming Voice is coming on our way. What I want to do here is to stay in a little bit more, go for that final Shuriken with the Nightslash on that final shield, and then try to switch out on Clodsire to try and catch the move. However, my opponent was definitely expecting this, so now it is the return of the leaders. As you can see, those Stone Edges can be somehow manageable by this Whimsicott, which can reach to the grass, not the Hurricane like we did on the previous video. That was super fun to watch. Be sure to check it out if you already haven't. And before they go down, they still have access to another move. This time the grass to once again to finish us down, but hopefully here we farm up one Water Shuriken, which brings us to the Hydro Cannon and the finish off over Skeledirge. That was absolutely awesome, totally calculated, and that is gonna be an extreme victory for our team. Into the next battle now, everyone, with that weird Gligar up in front. Of course, this is perhaps the worst lead that you can get with Clodsire, but hopefully here is where the backline can come in kinda clutch. So Shadow Alligator will go for those Hydro Cannons, and I guess that we can easily survive one more, and at this point one Ice Wind might actually do the trick as well. So here comes now the move. Of course, Feraligatr will be obliged to go for the shield, and by sacrificing just one shield, they can easily beat us down, which is pretty incredible for a Shadow Feraligatr. So Hydro Cannon now cannot be taken that easy, but still we can survive at least one, and I'm trying to get my hands on that Hydro Cannon, but my opponent decides to use the Go Body Lag mode, and of course we lag as much as we couldn't before. Anyways, down they go, hopefully to that Hydro Cannon, and with Gligar out of the way, I'm just waiting for the final Pokemon. So already 2 Incinerates in, and they have access to the Thunder Punch. This is crazy for Typhlosion, and of course I decided to go here for the bait. This might have been a mistake because my opponent is definitely calling this, and now I switch out to my Clodsire to farm down and of course catch the move, but my opponent also was expecting this. I'm playing against a very skillful trainer, and as you can see here, Night Slash will be dropped on the shield. They can survive, and immediately right after they also have access to the Thunder Punch, which is kind of a big bummer for me, but still it is what it is. My opponent absolutely outplayed me in the end over there. Into the next battle now with the mountain up in front. All we need to do is to go ahead and throw those stone edges while Ice Beam is still gonna connect for a ton of damage. So we're already on the rage of another Ice Beam. We want to avoid that at all costs, and my Clodsar will go for the bones and the switch out to Dugong. Hopefully they also do the same to Goodra. They also want to catch a move, I guess. So by having Goodra up against me makes me think that we might be in a very difficult situation, because this dragon type, unlike Dragonair, has access to Thunder Punch. Hopefully though they still do not want to spend any shield at all, and down they go to my Ice Shards. Now Mountain returns, and before they go for a move I decide to press my Icy Wind. However, on the CMP, so that is not before they go for a move, but still it is the CMP, we go down to that Aerial Ace. Now here comes now a move once again. I decide to go for the shield and try to overfarm a little bit extra till I get access to that double Night Slash. One for the shield, one more for the knockout, but to my surprise they reach to another charge attack. I totally misplayed this one. Anyways, able to farm some extra here and still reach to another move. Down they go finally, and now they have a carbing at the very end. I know here that my only chance to victory is to get that final shield out of play, and as soon as we can get that shield out of the game, we can easily switch out to Clodsire, go for the Wombo combo, for the Hydro Cannon and the Earthquake from my Pokemon, and get finally a very well earned victory. Dragonair now is another tricky lead, especially when they have access to Aqua Tail. So I'm expecting them to reach those Aqua Tails at a very decent pace, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw those stone edges whenever I get the chance. However, on this incident, I decided to go for the crazy overfarm because I was expecting the switch, but my opponent is definitely not gonna fall for that. So here comes now another move, another Aqua Tail, another day at Go Battle League, and it doesn't matter at all because we can still farm down completely with our Dugong. So hopefully here they do not have a fighter, otherwise we are kinda doomed. So I decide to take that risk, and my opponent now has access to the Quagsire. The reason I'm not expecting a fighter, to be real with you, is because they also have a dragon type up in front. If they had a fighter at the back, this means that they were severely weak to those fairy types, so that's why I decided to take that risk. Sometimes you gotta understand team compositions if you want to succeed in Go Battle League. So Skeletor's now coming into the game makes me think that Greninja is once again the Pokemon that I need to sweep their entire team. So having two shields over my opponent here is just gonna be absolutely awesome, since now another Night Slash is imminent, and we also have access to another one for that CMP. This is gonna be looking absolutely awesome for my Frog Ninja Pokemon. Down they go, and now Quagsire will most likely follow the same fate, since they have nothing else to throw on my Greninja. Into the next battle line, we finally catch a break with a Metal Trash Can. This Pokemon is no biggie for us, we're just gonna go for the Earthquake till the end, but my opponent can catch on that Revenant. That's a crazy catch and a very good strategy for my opponent, and as you can see here, the Seed Bomb can do so much damage, but in the process we can still farm down completely with our moves. I'm expecting the Red Steel to return, but at the same time I want to see what they have at the very end. So they end up having a Goodra, which means that we can go for the Drill Run because I was expecting the Metal Trash Can, and right after the Icy Wind to grab the shield out of play. So at this point they have some energy stored up. This might be looking scary for my other water type Pokemon, so instead I decide to go for my Clodsire, and look at that, they end up catching for the second time. I'm such a garbage trainer sometimes. Before I was playing like a god, and over here I play like a total noob, or just my opponent is a better god than me and they can easily outplay me. So anyways, back to the commentary with the Earthquake and the potential nuke over that Red Steel. Let's see now what they want to do, since Goodra joins the party and we have access to the Stone Edge. This is gonna definitely take the final shield out of play, and now with Greninja, all we need to do is to spend our final seals on whatever they throw and guarantee the victory with the final Night Slash, since Greninja doesn't care at all about unsealed opponents. Into the next battle now with the Lickitung up in front. This is a pretty decent and normal lead for us, pun intended, and now we're having Gligar on the switch. This is pretty wonderful for us. We can easily survive the moves while we can go for the complete farm down at some point. However, I end up thinking that they have a Lickitung. Okay, this is not the end of the world, so perhaps we need to sacrifice some energy in the process, because whatever they throw right after, I decide to have my Dugong over here with a little bit of extra HP alive. And it works, because right here now Feraligatr might be able to farm us down, but in the process we still took a shield out of them. And now with Greninja coming into the game, we can easily survive at least one Hydro Cannon, so we can make them sacrifice some energy in the process. So now with a shield on the second Hydro Cannon, we are both even, but hopefully this final Night Slash can do the fatal blow on that shield scenario. However, my opponent takes the move, which is kind of a risky situation to be in, and now we can easily have the upper hand with the energy over that Lickitung with the final Hydro Cannon. It all depends now on if Clodsire can really pull this off, because they still have one shield remaining, and of course all we need to do is to reach to a couple of Earthquakes to guarantee the final nuke. So Earthquake now will be taken by Lickitung. Perhaps they thought I was gonna go for the Stone Edge, but at this point we don't care much, because they are just gonna surrender as it seems, and that is gonna be a fantastic victory for our Clodsire team. Into the next one now, and this ABB line is gonna face the amazing Alola Sandslash up in front. So this Pokemon is obviously another bad lead for us, and hopefully we can have the upper hand with the Earthquake. Otherwise I don't see us winning that easily, especially when we get hard countered on the switch. But this is the main plan, the main strategy that we need to follow for this team to succeed in Go Battle League and Great League. We need to aggressively switch out to Dugong, draw out the Fighter, draw out the Grass type, combined efforts of Dugong and Clodsire to finish off that Pokemon, and then Greninja will most likely have the upper hand. So I spent a shield here when I could have avoided it. I don't know why I did this, I was not paying much attention I guess, but still it is what it is, and we end up farming down with the Mud Shots. Now with the Fighter out of the way, Greninja will most likely have the ultimate sweeping scenario, and I decide to let that move go through. I know we can survive at least one, still reach to the Stone Edge, and right after this I'm just gonna switch out immediately to my Greninja. Of course I want to respect the damage from that Drill Run, but they end up going for the Ice Punch, which is kinda of a big mess for my shield, but it doesn't matter at all. Another Hydro is coming off, down they go. It all depends now on the final Pokemon. They got a Gligar, so this final Hydro Can will most likely seal the deal, and that is gonna be the end to an amazing battle. We got hard countered up in front, we got hard countered on the switch, but Greninja doesn't care, and eventually we get a positive battle for our team. Into the next battle now with the Skeletons up in front. Hopefully we have a team that can completely destroy down that Pokemon, so this is obviously one of the best leads that you can get, and Skeletons is kind of a common lead for you. So at least once in 10 battles or 5 or 7 or whatever, you're gonna have an easy victory like this. But first let's see how easy it can be, because Quagsire is gonna emerge as the perfect anti-meta Pokemon for my team, so another Core Breaker for sure. Hopefully though, with the combined efforts of my Pokemon, we can still finish it off or completely farm it down with Clodsire. So let's see how this is gonna turn up, because they end up switching out now to that Skeletons. So now we have access to the Stone Edge they want to block, which is great news for me, and now Greninja can easily join the party with that Hydro Cannon for the nuke. My opponent goes down, perhaps they were expecting at least that Night Slash, but we're not gonna fall for this. So right here they have an Azumarill at the very end. This is terrible, okay, straight up terrible. We cannot survive any move they throw, we need to respect the damage from those play roughs, and in the process process, all we need to do is to get to those hydro cannons. Hopefully, even when we have that 2 shield flex, we can have the upper hand. So let's see if that is true. We're supposed to have the upper hand. So over here now, they have some more energy to throw. Play rough on our shield, and we need the double night slash for sure, and as it seems we can get it fairly fast, so they end up getting out of this battle, and that's gonna be another huge victory for our team. That Azumarill was super scary in the end. Into the next battle now with that Annihilate up in front. Of course, this is a lead that is kinda playable for my Clodsar, and as you can see, they are already on the Stone Edge range, so we end up forcing them switching out to that Gligar. This is still pretty awesome for us because Dugong can have a pretty nice icy answer to that Gligar, and of course the Ice Wind has to be popped up now because they have a lot of energy to offer. So after the debuff though, I end up realizing that we do not need to shield at all, and we can still farm down completely. Ice Arts for the win. Now Annihilate returns, and we have one more Ice Wind for that Pokemon. Down they go, and they end up having a Lantern at the very end. Much like before, Lantern is a devastating last Pokemon for our Greninja. Hopefully you need to avoid those Pokemon, but if you do not, well, you can still rely on the other two severely hurt at this point Pokemon of yours and totally take advantage of that. Now I press Stone Edge for some reason. I undercharge it because I realize that we can easily have some fun here, and after I block at this point, I'm just gonna switch out to Greninja to completely farm down this Lantern in the most entertaining way possible. Now Clodsire up against the final lead of today's content, and this is Wigglytuff. So this is a toxic Pokemon that can still beat down our poison type if we're not careful on the 2 shield scenario, and that's mainly because they can debuff us in the process, so if we're not careful this can be kind of a game changer for them. So anyways, I decide to block as well, and as it seems we can now reach to the Earthquake. My opponent is not joking around, double shield for the Charmer, and now we have the Stone Edge before they reach to another Ice Wind and debuff us further. So here comes now the Stone Edge, and as you can see this is not gonna deal a lot of damage, so we might be in a pickle. At this point I decide to let my Clodsire go down, and then it hit me. Ganeto, you already have 1 Stone Edge worth of energy, just bank it immediately by switching out to Dugong for the very end game, clear those debuffs and see how they respond, and they end up having a Charjabug. This is absolutely awesome for me because now Charjabug is out of the way and we can have a much healthier environment for our Greninja. Wigglytuff returns into the game. We have access to Stone Edge to destroy down that Pokemon, so now with both Wigglytuff and Charjabug out of the game, can they have another hard counter to my Greninja? Yes they can, this time the Lantern, but hopefully with that Water Gun. So this is gonna be looking kinda of a great game for us because this is a Water Gun Lantern. We were kinda lucky here but still unlucky on the other situations to be in. So Greninja now, all it has to do is to block the Thunderbolt. We managed to do that correctly, and that is gonna be a fantastic ending to today's content. Thank you for watching, trainers, and for sticking around till the end. It really means a lot for my channel, but before you go, leave a huge like, subscribe to my stuff here on YouTube, and I hope to see you all into the next one.